What we're going to do is move straight for the press.
Press review.
Yes.
I want to talk about, let's go back to our region, especially Saudi Arabia and Yemen. Two interesting things. First of all, the Yemen ceasefire. We survived. They survived basically a whole day. Seems like everything went basically okay. The talks started in Switzerland, in Geneva. And also, Saudi Arabia has formed a coalition of 34 mainly Muslim countries, including powers such as Egypt and Turkey, to coordinate a fight against terrorist organizations. We have a report about that. Let's check it out.
Let's take a look at that report, definitely.
A new hope in Yemen as a ceasefire took effect Tuesday between the Saudi-led coalition and the Shiite rebels. This comes as UN-brokered peace talks begin in Switzerland, and after 9 months of intense fighting between the two sides. Yemeni Prime Minister Khaled Baha asked the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels to respect the truce in order to help fruitful negotiations.
Only if we meet with good intentions we can continue the political process from where it stopped. From the good things coming from the Yemeni side, we can move on to a political process. But before we need to restore the country, we need the Houthis to surrender their arms and the restoration of legitimacy in the capital Sana'a.
Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia announced the formation of a 34-state alliance to combat terrorism. The long list of participants includes countries such as Egypt, Qatar and the UAE, along with Turkey, Malaysia, Pakistan and some African states. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said the new coalition will fight terrorism in Iraq, Syria, Egypt, Libya and Afghanistan. Iran, a major rival of the Saudis, is not included in the coalition.
There shall be an operations room in Riyadh for the coordination and support of efforts to fight terrorism in many parts of the Islamic world. This announcement comes from the Islamic world's vigilance in fighting this disease, so it can be a partner as a group of countries in the fight against this disease.
U.S. Defense Minister Ashton Carter welcomed the new alliance and said it is very much in line with U.S. strategy to see more involvement in the campaign against IS by Sunni Arab countries. But although the conflict in Yemen may be close to resolution, the battle between the different factions, and especially between Riyadh and Tehran, is still underway.
Okay.
So this is interesting. I want to show you an op-ed that is from Al Arabiya, which is, I have to remind, of course, is a Saudi-backed media outlet. This is written by Dr. John C. Holtzman. Let's bring that one up.
Yeah.
He says that King Salman could not have been rhetorically clearer about ISIS, urging further significant efforts in November to eradicate this dangerous scourge and rid of the world of its evils. The new 34-state Islamic coalition against terrorism puts operational heft behind these stirring words, including pivotal predominantly Sunni states Egypt, Qatar, the UAE, Turkey, Malaysia, and Pakistan. The new coalition has both the diplomatic and strategic heft to potentially matter a great deal. So this man obviously believes in this move, and we'll just have to wait and see exactly what it does.
We'll have to wait and see, and I think it's something the Americans would like to see very much.
Definitely.
Would like to see this strong Arab coalition. I don't want to play, the sarcastic devil advocate that they usually do.
I think you should.
Yeah, but it's hard when all these, at the end of the day, we know that every nation, Islamic nation, or whomever's in the region, converging interests, do not do it for the love of the fight, so to speak, or for the cause. They do it for their own agenda.
Point.
Yes.
Bringing it back to Israel-Palestine, this is a video that went totally viral in the last couple of days, and some soldiers are now staying in base because of what they did to this Palestinian reporter. They photobombed a Palestinian reporter as she was trying to make a report in the West Bank. Let's see the video.
Let's see the video.
سياسة العقاب الجماعي إنما هي سياسة عنصرية تنتج سياسة العقاب الجماعي إنما هي سياسة عنصرية تنتهجها حكومة تل أبيب العنصرية بهدف تضييق الخناق أكثر وأكثر على المواطنين. سار العذراء تلفزيون فلسطين من قرية عبود رام الله.
So these three guys
are now?
They are now, well, they're not getting any jail time or anything, which I think they probably would have been a better punishment, but they're just going to have to stay in base for 14 days. That is what the IDF is giving them.
Okay, one more.
One more. Well, actually, it's if I have time just for two about the Haaretz conference, two op-eds that we talked about in length yesterday. This is Ron Campius in foreign policy, and the importance of this conference is that taking some turf from AIPAC.
Right.
The unbreakable bond, as he says, talk that permeates pro-Israel conferences is in little evidence here, rather than the cheery talk at the massive AIPAC annual springtime bash. The fascination here is with the dysfunction of the relationship made flesh over the last 7 years and the overt tension between President Barack Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This is, by the way, from Foreign Policy, not Haaretz. I just want to make a correction there. Sure. And another op-ed by J.J. Goldberg, a very prominent voice who's also talking about this very important conference, saying that they did not talk about security. Let's hear he said. Except for a panel discussion about the Iran deal, which focused on the deal's impact on U.S.-Israel relations, not on Israel's security, and one small roundtable session on future borders, there were no sessions on the security challenges and threats facing Israel internally and externally. One panel discussion of the impact on Israel of events in the Middle East ended up focusing on food and music. When the moderator asked panelists to address how Israelis should respond to ISIS in Syria, one panelist responded, "Rise above our fears."
Rise above our fears. And I think, you know, every voice needs to be heard, and conferences to set an agenda are great. I'm wondering still what we wondered out loud. That conference taking place in New York, I don't know how much it progresses the dialogue between the two sides. But
good question.
But an important one in itself. Okay.